Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahaba Shem Yashab Bashem Kudash, and double honors to the greatest and apostles. Thali How, Thali Yashab for the strength in order to make this video. And Yahaba Shem Yashab Brakatham Akim, which means bless you. You know, Barak means bless. Atham means you, you know, in plural. Atham means you, singular. Atham with a M, you know, Atham is a you in plural, like as in a group. When it's getting to the point, you know, this was a video. You can see like a little update on the tariffs, you know, on that situation. On Trump, man, you know, Nero. That's why I named it Nero. Nero's tariffs equals to internal breakdown, because internally, in a more so economic sense, this will actually break down the economy of America, man. You know, so this one's by BBC News, and it's named United States to double tariffs on steel and aluminium imports to 50%. Donald Trump says, BBC News. So I'm gonna play it, bring out some precepts, you know, maybe even some points on an article or something. But really, the points in this video, and yeah, man, it should be a quick one.
Donald Trump has told a rally at a US steel plant in Pennsylvania that he intends to double US steel import tariffs to 50%. The president said the increase would offer the country's steel industry more security and vowed to stop any countries getting around the new rate. The White House said the higher levies would take effect next week. It comes after a federal appeals court granted the temporary suspension of a lower court's trade ruling that the bulk of Mr. Trump's global tariffs were illegal.
We are going to be imposing a 25% increase. We're going to bring it from 25% to 50%, the tariffs on steel into the United States of America, which will even further secure the steel industry in the United States. Nobody's going to get around that.
Yeah, you know, as I think during Trump's inauguration, he did say he wants to get America into the golden age of America. It's really, that's just the ego speaking with pride, if you get what I mean. You know, that's just America speaking with pride, aka Trump, man. You know, because during that golden age, he wants to restrict all manufacturing to be from within the country, which, you know, obviously he will say is for certain reasoning, you know, to try and I guess reduce costs. Of course, I need to do more research on this, but to try and because if I recall correctly, I think he mentioned about really reducing the prices, or if for one of those channels of whom analyze these things, the politics of the situation, or the economics of the situation, that if they restrict the imports within America from other countries, then that would allow for deflation to happen. Of course, I'm gonna do some more research, Yaratazar, and probably make another video on it too, you know, if there's any more news that comes out. So that was you could perceive that as the initial intention, but that's not really going to plan, because now you're just frustrating all the other nations who want to do business in your country. And nevertheless of that, you know, you had all the other workers behind him, you know, these guys wearing the construction suits, you know, the hardware, I said hardware, the gear, you know, basically the clothing required in the construction industry. They were smiling and, you know, clapping, man, not knowing that, you know, Trump imposing these tariffs would result to Americans themselves having to pay for it in these different products, man, especially the ones that require steel and aluminium. You know, certain of those industries, of course, are the automotive industry, you know, manufacturing, you got energy, even military defense as well. That's one of them. And I think there was one more, but let's continue on.
United States of America, which will even further secure the steel industry in the United States. Nobody's going to get around that.
Our North America correspondent Jake Wan is following developments.
For several weeks, it appeared that Mr. Trump was climbing down from his tariffs regime, either...
Because, the point is, you increase the prices of foreign products so that you could decrease the prices of local products. That's the idea that he's pushing. But it's not going to plan. It's not going to plan, as with all things that America gets into. Mossad's going to make them in their ways. And means make an error. So let me get a quick preset. Then we'll go and get back to business. Go and get back to business. Well, yeah, 4. I need verse 4, but verse 14 is also another one as well. I'll read verse 14 first. So Isaiah 19 and 14, the Lord Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So that's Isaiah 19 and 14. That perverse spirit, that causes them to make mistakes in all the works, and anything that America tries to dedicate their effort to, they fail, man. Because obviously that's just leading up and warming up to that destruction ultimately, which will be finished by those nuclear missiles, mentioned in Joel 2 as a great army, as well as Jeremiah 51 verse 25 being a burnt mountain, man. So that's the perverse spirit, man. The Mossad is going to make them make mistakes. And Trump, of course, is leading the way for this to... He's just fulfilling prophecy, man. That's really... If you were to put it in simple terms, he's fulfilling prophecy in terms of actually leading America, which can be called Egypt as well, the modern-day Egypt, into its destruction, man. Rightfully so.
For several weeks, it appeared that Mr. Trump was climbing down from his tariffs regime, either lowering the tariffs or suspending them to give room to strike deals with trading partners. But this sudden announcement at the steel mill in Pennsylvania, it appears Mr. Trump is reigniting the trade war with countries, not only China, but his allies too. We heard from Canada and Australia quickly denouncing this latest tariff. We heard from a trade minister of Australia calling it economic self-harm. And Mr. Trump is promising that this tariffs will save America's steel industry from what he calls shoddy steel from Shanghai. The increased cost of importing this steel will likely be passed on to American consumers, and it could even set off a...
You see? That's it. You impose the tariffs. Initially, I actually thought it was the other countries that are going to be affected by it. But the thing is, well, yeah, they are, but the point is, the ones who actually pay for the products that are imported from other countries, they're the ones that are going to be impacted, man. And not just that, the ones who actually do business of having to buy the products from other countries into America, they're going to have to pay for it too. So it's the businessmen and also the consumers as well.
Another round of retaliation from other countries. I mean, China has been negotiating with America since the...
And then what would that then lead to? Things get too expensive, inflation goes up too much in terms of certain products that people like, to buy typically, especially the needs, water, food, shelter, all those things that relate to that. When those prices go up, inflation hits high, which we can call it hyperinflation, then begins. Then people are going to start suffering the repercussions of that, the consequences of that, which would then be people having to go to starvation, not being able to support themselves, and then you go and see the other prophecies also come out as well, such as Isaiah 4 and 1, over there in America, of course in other countries as well, but the point is that's going to be the time of which Jacob's trouble is going to start to increase in terms of the heat of the pressure from it. And Jacob's trouble is just a time of which Israelites, and not just Israelites, but heathens also, they will also feel the heavy, severe effects of the downfall of Babylon, as well as the economies of many countries, man, which are in sync or are maybe reliant on Babylon as well. Which America, remember, America's that is that whore that's mentioned in the scriptures, man. So of course they're going to be annoyed, these other European countries as well. Because the European countries, they're in relation of America, man. They're the ones who even helped to create America. So Revelation 17 and 16, all you need to do is just research the history. The British coming to America and all these other countries as well, building it up. So yeah, it says Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Yeah, you see, the 10 horns, that's referring to the European nations, the original 10. I think Spain, Portugal, I think Greece was also part of it, some other countries too. Denmark as well. But 10 horns is referring to the original countries of the European Union, man. Which thou sawest upon the beast, that system, NATO and the EU, and America's part of NATO as well. So all those countries that form NATO and the EU. It says here, these shall hate the whore. So the rest of the countries are going to hate America. America's seen as that whore. The reason why it's seen as that whore, because it corrupts all the other countries with its philosophies and different ways of life, which does not adhere to the Most High's will. Well, it does. It is the Most High's will for this to happen, but it doesn't adhere to righteousness. We could say that. And the nations don't favor the whore, man. They're tired of being under the whore. So, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That would be quite literal burning. Send nuclear missiles, man. That's what the burn. That's why, again, I mentioned it again, Jeremiah 51. I might as well just get it. So Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and verse 25, man. So Jeremiah 51 and 25, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord Yahweh, which destroys all the earth. Yep, America. Remember, with all these different agendas going to the Middle East to extract oil, that's one thing. And also in its other cunning ways to destroy, other economies, man. Especially with its dollar. So which destroys all the earth, and I would stretch out mine hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks. I will make thee a burnt mountain. So mountains also represent rulerships, man. Hills, mountains in certain contexts of the scriptures represents rulerships. And the rulerships, aka you can see as countries, man. Now, the mountain of America, you can see as the country of America, it will be burnt. So that burnt mountain is a metaphor for a rulership that's going to be lit with fire, quite literally, and metaphorically too, because it's going to start with the economy going down, and all other things such as supply not being able to come into America. It's going to be like what's it called? Yeah, Hunger Games, man. That's how it's going to be like out here. Hence Jacob's trouble. That's Jeremiah 13:7. So yeah, that's what America's going to have to suffer through, man. All because of the decrees of Trump right here, man. Let me get this one right here before I continue the video. So Isaiah 19:4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and the fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh. And it says the Lord Yahweh of hosts, man. So of course that fierce king, that cruel lord, is Nero. Just watch, he's just warming up, man. I remember I was reading the comments as well on this video, and the person was mentioning about him doing it for insider trading as well, man. Which it's all those slide deals in order for them to make profit and money. And there's the greed of Esau. So that's also part of it. But at the end of the day, they have a bigger agenda than insider trading. So let's continue.
Countries. China has been negotiating this steel. Tariffs will save America's steel industry from what he calls shoddy steel from Shanghai. The increased cost of importing this steel will likely be passed on to American consumers, and it could even set off another round of retaliation from other countries. China has been negotiating with America since the two sides have slept astronomical amount of tariffs on each other. And earlier this month, they have had a breakthrough negotiation in Geneva where both sides have decided to bring down the tariffs to manageable levels. But what we heard in the last 24 hours is that two sides pointing fingers at each other, accusing the other side of breaking the promises. So for China, the #1 steel manufacturer in the world, this news from Pennsylvania won't be taken kindly.
And where are we now in terms of the court process with these appeals? Because that's been quite a confusing picture as well in the last couple of days, hasn't it?
Exactly. For the last few days, we heard the back and forth between courts. So several days ago, a court in Manhattan have ruled that Mr. Trump's Liberation Day tariffs on each countries around the world is in fact illegal and suspended Mr. Trump's ability to bring them down again in July. And we also heard from the Federal Appeals Court now suspending that. So while the tariffs on each country is illegal, Mr. Trump is continuing to collect fees on the tariffs. So it's a little confusing, but that lawsuit did not concern itself with these tariffs on specific industry. So industries like steel, aluminum, and automobile were not impacted by that court order. So it really feels like Mr. Trump is...
Yeah, so that means I stand corrected when I said the automotive industry was going to be touched. But yeah, man, nevertheless of that, either way, then prices are going up for the imported products, and the consumers are going to have to pay for it, and the businessmen as well.
Defying the court as well as defying China with one free hand he still has. So slapping tariffs like steel is still one tool in his toolbox that he's now bringing out and using it to relitigate this trade war.
Now, many...
Yeah, that's really the point there, Kim, man. So I'm gonna get few precepts now. I'm gonna close it out, man. So over there 1 and 3. Over there 1 and 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, because that's Esau's origins, to live in the mountainous regions, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So of course he has pride in his heart, man. That's why it's when pride is in the heart, which the heart represents the mind. When a person is prideful, we know that's the precursor of destruction, man. Hold on, prideful. As it says here, Proverbs 16 and 18, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So, before someone gets destroyed, they tend to become prideful. In America, there's a whole heap of pride over there, man. So, I'm going to get one more. You can liken this as a wicked decree as well. So Isaiah 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. So of course, woe means destruction, and unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, man. And that right grievousness goes into that, something that's painful, man. And it's going to be painful for those consumers and businessmen of whom have to pay for the cost of importing that steel, man, and those goods. So yes, Nero is doing his job, man. He's doing his job. And then furthermore, down the line, that's just going to lead to the downfall of America. Right, so Shalom, Kahalarim La Yahabashim Yashabashim Hakudash, and double honors to the great and apostles once more. Thali Yahshua for the strength in order to do this video. Once more, Shalom.